Hello and welcome to another Train Sim World 2 video, and this time we're driving from Stalybridge all the way to Manchester, not too far away, with the Class 314, so we're on Northern Transpennine. And no AWS on this route, but I am still turning it on, as usual. I believe it has been turned on, or maybe I'm not. I am, yeah. I usually do that because I've kind of got into the habit of doing it, and I think it's important to get into habits when you are playing a simulating game. Anyway, so today I wanted to deliver some news as a follow-up from the last video. The last video, of course, being, I believe we were on the Glasgow Cathcart Circle. We were doing the Cathcart Circle using the 465, Class 465, one of my favourite locomotives in the game. However, 3 and 4, also very good. And the news is regarding West Cornwall Local. So, the upcoming DLC, which is, we don't have a date yet. I would guess that it's coming near to the end of the year, I would say, because Rush Hour is on the way in August, pretty much, and there will be some updates from the team about Rush Hour. Pretty much, it's going to be very Rush Hour centric for the next month, I would say, and into August. So with that in mind, we might not hear a whole lot about other things. We still will from the roadmap, but I just wanted to deliver some news. The developments are that basically, last time I mentioned we had the Class 150 confirmed, and we did. That is still the case. It is still coming. However, Rivet Games, who is in charge of doing West Cornwall Local, they did an announcement on one of their websites, on one of their platforms, and they said that we are going to be getting one new locomotive, which is the Class 150, because we haven't seen it before, and a returning one, so one we have seen before in the game. And this narrows it down quite well, although what also narrows it down very well are the codes for the DLC. Now, each DLC has a code given to it basically by the location, and then also the traction types in the actual DLC itself. So Glasgow Cathcart Circle, which the 3 and 4 is from, has its own code. All of the DLCs we've had have codes, and the code for West Cornwall Local suggests that there's going to be a diesel hydraulic locomotive, which is the Class 150, because basically the transmission is hydraulic, so therefore it has to be diesel hydraulic. But then also there's a diesel traction type in there as well. And because they said we're going to be getting 2 traction types, basically what that means is that it can only really be the Class 43 HST. Now, I'm 90% sure on that. If the other 10% of me is saying it might not be that, because West Cornwall Local has about 27 miles of route. I mean, from Penzance to Truro and St Ives in total. Technically more, because the St Ives branch adds on to that. However, if you're going from Penzance to Truro, that's the longest distance. It will be 27 miles. Now, is that long enough to use a HST? For me, personally, I think it is. I think it's alright. But obviously some other users have been saying that, it might not be long enough to give it a decent run. However, I'm fine with that. So, if it's a Class 43 HST, then it's going to probably be, it's very, very likely to be a Valenta engined HST. Now, Valenta is just basically the name of one of the engines by Paxman. So, all of the HSTs around that sort of time had Valenta engines. And if you're curious about what the characteristics of them, you can obviously check out the Armstrong Powerhouse enhancement packs. Those are probably the best places to go if you just want raw sounds. and characteristics, because they do sound very nice. That is, if Dovetail, or you know what, Dovetail aren't even doing this because it's Rivet Games, isn't it? That will bring up a point a bit later. However, if they manage to use the Armstrong Powerhouse sounds for both of these locomotives, the 150 and the 43, which I'm 90% sure it's going to be, that'll be great. If they can nail the appearance of the locomotives as well, and also the environment, that will just be a good package, in my opinion. That would be job well done. And that leads me on to, with it being Rivet Games who are working on it, it does bring up some concerns, because Rivet Games, their DLCs, they haven't been the best received. So the first DLC that Rivet Games did, I believe, was Isle of Wight. And Isle of Wight wasn't received very well because it was just kind of a meh thing. Kind of poor value for money, in my opinion, because it's £20, so 20 Great British pounds. And for that you get, one locomotive and 8 miles of route. Just 8. Now granted, that's appropriate because the Isle of Wight isn't that big, but still, it's not that great when you're spending £20 on that. And no other locomotives can go on that line anyway, so at least that's to my knowledge. So you're basically just getting a discarded 1938 stock from the London Underground to drive on 8 miles of track. And that will probably feel very samey after a while. So not great value for money. Then there's a Rosa line, or a Rosalini, or whatever it wants to be called, the one in Switzerland. The train, the quality of the actual locomotive is great. Right, that was very well done. What wasn't well done was the environments. There have been some complaints about the environment being done. So basically, with Rivet Games being behind it, there's the usual concerns that it may not be that great. And I obviously want them to do a good job, and if I'm completely honest, do I trust Rivet Games to do this? To an extent. Is the quality of the product going to be as good as if it was another developer? I kind of don't know, because maybe Rivet has listened to feedback from the previous DLCs and will then improve. Maybe they'll be working a little bit with Dovetail to do that. Maybe they'll be working with Armstrong Power. I do not know, because that's very behind the scenes stuff that we just don't really know until the final product arrives. And with that being said, I still want to buy it, because if we are getting a Class 150, which we are, but if we're also getting a Class 43, an older one, I'd love that. Because I want to use those trains. I want to use them in scenario planner mode. And it would be great if the sounds were spot on, if they got Armstrong Powerhouse to give them the enhanced sounds and implement them very well. That would be excellent, because it's just another layer of the immersion. However, is it necessary for me to enjoy it? Not particularly. There's a lot of DLCs that I have that don't have great sounds, but at the same time I still do enjoy them, because to me it's not all about sounds, it just brings it up there. For some people it is necessary to have great sounds, but it's a simulation game. It has to be as realistic as possible. I get that. It's just that me personally, I can enjoy it without it being perfect, which it pretty much never can be. So yeah, I'm still happy about the potential. Still happy about getting a 150. Still happy about the route. It's a lovely part of the UK. I was actually watching Susan Calman's Seaside, I think it's just Susan Calman goes to the seaside or visits the sea, something like that. And she was, visiting a lot of the areas, a lot of the great seaside resorts, and one of them was St Ives, which is in Cornwall. It's absolutely beautiful. It's kind of like the Mediterranean, only close to home, you know. And it looks great. I hope that Rivet Games does it justice, because they kind of have to. This is a route that's close to home. The Isle of Wight, I don't know how many people have been to the Isle of Wight, but with somewhere like Truro, St Ives and Penzance, where lots and lots of people have been, especially in the UK, and have seen pictures of it, if they don't do it right, someone's going to notice. And not just people who live there or, travel along the route fairly regularly, just people in general will notice, because if the sea is not the correct colour of blue, it's a lovely blue, if the environment just isn't well done, people are going to notice. So my advice to Rivet Games would be to really pull out all the stops, and if you really need to, you should charge accordingly, put in the effort and then charge the right amount for it. Don't just do an Isle of Wight where you give us one locomotive 8 miles and then say, we've done, now pay £20. I don't think so, because 8 miles and one locomotive, what kind of bum deal is that? Whereas if it's Penzance and Truro and St Ives, beautiful parts of the country and also the world, well done trains, 150, it's not exactly top of everyone's list, but it's appropriate. Class 43, very successful, iconic train, yes, an older version with a Valenta engine, great sounds. Yeah, of course, you can charge £20-25 for that any day. If you've done the effort, if you put in the effort, you deserve the money. But if you haven't put in the effort, people aren't going to be happy. Just be honest. Granted, that's with every DLC. I mean, if it's crap, then people aren't going to want to buy it. But and obviously, people personally might not like UK routes, but I'm just saying Rivet should pull out all the stops for this one. Ooh, look, another train. What is that? Is that a 465? Yeah. Lovely. So, yeah. That's that. That's the news. Did finish watching the roadmap stream, the most recent one, as of the time of this video. Nothing new revealed at the end of there, no real new information. So, nothing much to report on that front. They also said they're going to be doing dedicated roadmap streams for Rush Hour, which they might call the Rush Map, something like that. It's a bit silly, but they are going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about things specifically about Rush Hour, so I'll try and tune into those and see what I can get. I'm not a person to ask questions on streams, because if I'm completely honest, sometimes the attitude of streamers is, I would consider it rude. Basically the chat is just never quiet. There's never a moment where someone isn't posting something in the chat, especially questions, and those questions could be answered by just things that were talked about earlier in the stream, and then the people doing the stream have to say, actually, we already talked about that, if you scroll back in the video. So the live chat for me, I mean, when I'm watching one of these streams, I turn off the live chat. I pause whenever I want to, and then just watch it from that point. Because I don't think people behave themselves in these streams. When I ask a question, the only times when I have asked questions, is only about twice before, and neither of them were answered because everybody else was posting lots and lots of questions and responses to each other. And I'm kind of thinking, well, they're not really going to see any of these questions, regardless of how important or whether they know the answer. They're never really going to see them because the chat is just always popping off. So, yeah, I mean, just be patient, and the more patient you are, the more likely they are to answer, really. Everyone should just chill out, when in the stream chats. Just chill out. You'll find out. And also asking questions that aren't really going to be answered anyway. Like, answers about what's on the roadmap, yeah, they are going to answer questions about those, but in terms of in-depth detail of upcoming DLCs and release dates, I mean, release dates aren't given until they're given. Dovetail are going to choose when they want to give you a release date. They're not going to give you one just so, oh yeah, it's on the blah blah of September or whatever. No, they're just going to say, well, we can't answer that. It'll be ready when it's ready, which is fair enough. Small team in comparison to other development studios, so it will take whatever pace it takes. Right? Just chill your beans and listen out for this information if and when they give it. That's my advice. What else? Don't think there's much else Train Sim World related that I can talk about. I am now a member of the Train Sim Community Discord server, which is quite a big one. Nice place. I've asked some questions, I had them answered fairly normally. Yeah, I'd say it's alright. Yeah, what else is there to talk about? Well, at this moment in time, I have 2 Let's Plays going on, and these are Let's Plays for an 18 plus audience, and they'll be marked as not for kids, and with them being marked not for kids, it means that, to be honest, should I age restrict them? Because age restricting means that you have to log in order to prove your age, in order to actually watch the videos. I have a YouTube account. I've never needed to log in because I was the right age to watch the videos anyway. But there were times when I did watch videos that were intended really for adults, for Let's Plays of games like GTA, etc, etc. But at the time, even I played GTA, so it was fine, At the end of the day, should I age restrict them, yes or no? Well, the monetization doesn't matter to me, because it just doesn't. I'm not getting any money from YouTube. I don't want any money from YouTube. I don't want to pepper my videos with ads. If you see an advertisement, I didn't put it there. It's not my fault. I'm not getting any money from YouTube because I will earn literally nothing. And besides, it's just a hobby. I'm here to have fun. The point is that I have 2 Let's Plays on the go right now. I've got San Andreas and Destroy All Humans. You haven't seen either of them yet. And I'm wondering which one's going to come out first. I'm going to try and get some videos from San Andreas fairly soon. I need some artwork for the thumbnails to make them look decent. And I also need some... I don't really need anything to destroy humans, because the game can provide decent enough thumbnails on its own from the actual game footage. So with that being said, I'll release those when I release them, and hopefully you enjoy those as well. If you're old enough, I obviously don't recommend you watch them or play them if you're under the age recommended for the games. But yeah, I'm just letting you know I will be doing those. And to be honest, I don't think all my videos are necessarily PG-13. I mean, I can't remember any times when um, when I've sworn? Is it sworn? I can't recall any specific times when I've used bad language in my videos, but I'm pretty confident that I have at some point, and therefore I can't really say that this is appropriate for all ages, because it kind of isn't. And I think that the train sim community is mostly adult anyway, even though it's perfectly fine for kids, you know, it's a 3+ rated game. There's no bad stuff in the game, none whatsoever. It's just driving trains, that's it. But I think it's mostly an adult market for this game anyway. So yeah, do with that what you will. Just let you know, I'm working on things in the background. It's not just train sim stuff. And I'd say, well, we've reached Manchester. I do like the Northern Trans-Pennine route. I do wish it had AWS, just like as an optional thing. You know, you can turn it on, even though it's not really historically accurate, I don't think. But if it had it, that'd be pretty cool. Kind of like as a scenario planner detail, an exclusive thing. Just like activate AWS and it kind of simulates it as if it was there. That'd be kind of cool, but at the moment, no, that's not possible. I'm sure there's mods out there for this kind of stuff if you're on PC, because there are mods for Train Sim World games on PC. But other than that, that's pretty much everything in the video. I hope you've had fun today on this early morning run with the Class 314. I know I have. I know I did. I had fun. And hopefully I'll be able to provide you some more videos with some more interesting information related to the game as and when they happen. So thanks very much for watching. Please do watch more of my videos if you really want to. I'm not going to force you. And yeah, stay safe, have fun, enjoy your day, your night, your week, whenever. And yeah, have a good time wherever you are. Take care. I'm not very good at signing off videos. See you around.